you guys hear about this lady in Australia?
This lady in Australia.
Lady in Australia.
Well, here's the picture.
Oh, she looks very distressed.
Yeah, she killed 3 of her in-laws by using poisonous mushrooms.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So
we're talking super toxic. That's what we're talking about.
Very toxic.
She used poisonous mushrooms
she
to
and her
kill
husband,
her in-laws.
Yeah, she and her husband are estranged, and she needed some money. And invited her elderly in-laws over and killed them with beef Wellington.
Beef Wellington would be a delicious last meal, though. I have to say, that would be good.
With finely chopped mushrooms.
That is horrible. That is horrible. Okay. Well, there we have it. Toxic people in the news.
There she is.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. So there's some toxicity for us right out of the gate.
And toxic mushrooms are apparently a thing. So just be aware.
I'm going to be thinking about that the next time I ever have a beef Wellington. My goodness.
This is why I don't eat mushrooms.
Yeah.
You never know.
I'm with you. That's
never
disgusting
know.
stuff. Yeah.
Can never trust a mushroom.
You shouldn't have
Oh,
them.
my word.
Especially the cloud kind.
The cloud cut?
Yeah.
True.
Yes.
Never trust a mushroom cloud. You're right, Corey. You're right.
It's pretty toxic.
It's
I don't
very
know.
wise.
You can't-
Unbelievable. Okay, so toxicity in our culture, we've been talking a lot about this, and then toxicity in our faith. As people, we have to also watch, it's not just our actions, it's our attitudes. So we're focusing on toxic attitudes today, which... Bad attitudes honestly lead to bad actions. So let's take your Australian friend, for example.
My friend? She's not
your
my friend.
She's your friend, Kristen. She had obviously had a bad attitude toward her in-laws for quite some time. Can we all agree?
Yes.
There was some toxicity there. Okay. Your friend, Kristen, your Australian friend.
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate. That's perfect. With some shrimp on the barbie.
Another mushroom on the barbie. Our Australian accents. For anybody who wants to comment on them, please do.
They're not great. They're not great. So when it comes to toxic attitudes, here's the principle we got to lean into today. One of the greatest distractors of just having a good attitude, or just the negatives that create toxicity in our attitudes, is the principle of unthankfulness. And people kind of glaze over that a lot of times, like unthankfulness. That doesn't seem like it's a very big deal. The problem is when you are thankful, like thankfulness, we've talked about this in the past. When I am thankful, and that's my posture, like give thanks in all circumstances, the posture of thankfulness keeps me close to the heart of God. It helps me recognize what God is doing. I'm counting my blessings. I'm recognizing that He's faithful, that He's moving and working. And when I get to the place where I'm unthankful, what that means is that the opposite is true. I'm not content. I'm complaining. I'm looking at all the things that I don't have. I'm starting to feel entitled, and I'm consumed by envy, and I'm coveting other people's stuff, and I'm jealous. And suddenly, my whole life has been permeated by this toxic attitude. And it starts with unthankfulness. And so it doesn't seem like that harmful of a thing. But man, it unravels fast. And thankfulness is something that's really... It's talked about a lot through Scripture in terms of significance, and it's something that Jesus Himself values. It's something that we're taught in Scripture. So that's where we're going today. It's just make sure you're being thankful, because before you know it, if you're not careful, that can become real toxic real fast, and it starts by shaping your attitude.
Wait, so hold on. Am I toxic? We could go back to the toxic quiz.
Let's go.
So
what do you got?
We got new neighbors. And the previous neighbors, they took care of their grass really well. And we struggle with our grass because we have all these trees and we can't grow grass properly. Okay. So the new neighbors, like the old neighbors cut down all these trees and it looks beautiful.
Okay.
The new neighbor that just moved in cut his grass and it looks like he butched it. And I was like, yay.
You're like, uh-oh, now it's going to be bad.
And I'm like, why am I so so happy about that.
Because now yours doesn't look as bad. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
That's fantastic.
That's funny.
My goal has always been, listen, do not judge me. As long as there's one or two other yards in our neighborhood that look worse than mine, it keeps you off the radar. So it's like, oh, I'm fine. They're going to be all upset about those people's yards, not mine. I feel like that could be the same for you and John.
Opposite. Like I have strived to have the best yard in the neighborhood.
Really? You're
However,
that guy.
we moved into the house we live in a year after it was built, and this makes me so angry. The people who built the
really
house,
upset about this.
people who built the house
problem.
Yeah, the people who built the house did not install a sprinkler system.
Oh,
and so I'm angry, but I'm also cheap. So, and I'm not willing to spend what it takes to actually do that myself.
So the girls take turns at night in the summer, like holding a hose out in your yard?
We've got hoses and I can go put on the sprinkler and like moving around the yard, but that's really annoying.
For Father's Day, I bought John one of the tractor.
Oh, those are, the old school. Yeah. Follow the...
Wait, those are old school?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's from my childhood. Yeah.
Absolutely, they are.
It follows the path of where you lay out the hose. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's really funny.
But anyway.
Okay. What's interesting, let's talk serious for a second.
Yep.
It's interesting. I've learned in studying some different commentaries that in the last centuries, it was like your theologians and big time leaders in thought in terms of spirituality and growing in your relationship with God, they identified ungratefulness, like unthankfulness, as one of the most evil things that we can allow to grow roots in our lives. And we don't speak in those terms today about unthankfulness. It's always something else that's more visible or obvious. But unthankfulness, when that messes with your attitude and you allow that to permeate your whole life, well, then all of a sudden everything is negative. You're focusing on what you don't have instead of what you do. You become entitled. And we deal with that in the generations we're in right now. There's this sense of entitlement.
Right.
I deserve to have good things. I don't deserve to have bad things. Yeah. And then anytime something doesn't go perfectly right, you're melting down and you're losing your mind because I shouldn't be having to go through this. I'm entitled to all good things. And it all stems from this idea of not being thankful and staying close to the heart of God. So like what we're talking about today, like circling this principle, it matters because you can be right, but if you have the wrong attitude, you're wrong. Your attitude matters.
It changes everything. And like it gives a sense of entitlement to people where they feel like they deserve answers or they deserve this or that, or like, so we started by talking about a story in Australia in the news. This one is a story that over the summer, most people will remember that in Texas, there was a really bad flood that happened. And went through a girls' camp and killed a ton of people.
That's horrible.
As we're filming this, like there's just like over 100 people still missing. I mean, it's just crazy. And it's nothing but a sad story, right?
Yes.
There's no question about that. But I think what's toxic about it is the way that like the news coverage immediately turned to people wanting to immediately place blame on things. Yeah. There's no such thing in our world today, unfortunately, of just like letting it breathe and just like feeling grief for what happened.
Like something terrible happened. Yeah. Let's grieve with these people. Let's rally around them. Right. There has to be more. Yeah.
And so immediately people are like, well, this happened. The whole thing happened because of climate change, or because of
blame whoever caused that. Now,
and the warning system from the National Weather Service wasn't good enough because of budget cuts.
Oh yes, I remember that. Right? Yep.
And those are like within the first 24 hours. Like we haven't even found all the victims and their bodies, and like we're still dealing with this. And then things like, hey, at that girls' camp, they were right in the middle of a floodplain, and they should have known. And
it's brutal. It's brutal.
Instead of feeling gratefulness that in your heart, and that it allows you to like look at the situation and just grieve and feel sadness for people, instead we feel this like sense of entitlement of we've got to know answers, and I'm going to throw and cast blame, and somebody's got to pay.
Someone's
for what
responsible
happened.
And it has to be my enemy, so we're going to make it about them. They did this.
Yeah.
So like that's just one example, man. the news is just littered with
the
stories
whole system
like that.
is run and driven by toxicity. It's not healthy at all. Even in the sports world, we were talking about this earlier. The WNBA, it's all driven right now. Like Caitlin Clark, obviously, in the last year and a half, has doubled or tripled the viewership or interest of the WNBA. But people have made it toxic because other people make it about them, and so the big feud has been Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and it becomes
so dumb.
toxic. Everything about it's toxic. It's like, oh, this is unhealthy, but I'm gonna watch. Get the popcorn. Let's see how this unwinds.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese don't even want that to be true, right?
No, I mean, but the machine works, and it's all driven on just toxicity and bringing out the worst in people. Like that's what it does.
There's something
out
about
the worst in people.
There's something about the sport of basketball. Like that's the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. Like anything that surrounds LeBron James, it's always
And if you disagree with someone in that world, no matter what you're talking about, it's like you can't have disagreements with people anymore and then still be friends. Like unless someone agrees with every single opinion you have about everything, we can't be friends. Like, whoa, what is going on here?
Let's go a step further. Like in the sports world, we're talking about toxic attitudes. Man, I'll just be honest. Like I grew up watching all kinds of sporting events and turning on Sports Center on ESPN and trying to stay in touch with everything that's going on and all the like morning shows and everything. I can't watch it anymore. It's all people with attitudes and axes to grind, and there's all kinds of things that have nothing to do with sports. Most of the stories have to do with like interpersonal relationships within the players and like dynasties and legacies and like all these things that have nothing to do with the games themselves. It just gets to be
it's
so frustrating. And it honestly, I believe it stems exactly from what you're talking about, where it's about our attitudes and about our level of gratefulness and thankfulness that we have in our hearts.
Kristen, what do you think about the baseball and the footballs?
I think Peyton Manning is a superior quarterback than Tom Brady.
I love it.
Thank you. That was the perfect response. That was perfect. I knew that her inner monologue was like, oh, they're talking sports.
No.
I'll re-engage in a couple minutes.
With some of them. Basketball, not so much, but football and some of baseball.
Yes.
Like John Smoltz was a Brave, not a Cub.
Hey, look at you. You really did it. You really did it.
Yes.
We should have a quiz later on in a future podcast of like naming like team names, like the Tampa Bay Lightning. What sport is that?
Tampa Bay Lightning?
Yeah.
I don't know that one, so it's got to be basketball.
That was hockey. That was close. Though.
Hockey? Yeah. What is Tampa Bay and basketball?
Tampa Bay's in Florida. So
no, basketball. They don't have an
NBA team. No.
Okay.
That was hilarious. No, but speaking to the toxicity of just everything in our culture, it's all about who is right and who can throw blame and shade somewhere else. And it all comes from this sense of entitlement and comparison. And, it's just so ugly. And when we stop and recognize that any of that is growing in our heart, we have to root that out immediately. And the best antidote to that is just to start by being thankful. Like thankfulness immediately starts to eliminate all of that toxicity in our lives. And it sounds like an oversimplification, but my goodness, if you just make it part of your daily routine where you are just pausing to just literally take 60 seconds and just thank God for the blessings he has given you. Thank him for the ways he's been faithful, for the blessings that you have been given. Man, that keeps your attitude and your heart in the right place. There's an amazing story that you see in the book of Luke, where these 10 lepers came to Jesus and they were desperate to be healed. Do you guys know anything about leprosy? When I talk about leprosy, do you know what I'm talking about at all or no?
Yes.
Runs
a little bit.
wild.
Leprosy runs wild. Finish that, Kristen. Finish that. It runs wild where? Tell us everything, Kristen.
Are lepers in forests or in this is so bad. I'm putting myself on blast right now.
Oh my word!
The leprosy runs wild in the forest. Is that what you just
said? Oh my word!
That's exactly right, Kristen.
Spots, lots of spots.
There is spots.
Yeah, that's actually true.
The leopards? Yes, leopards. Oh my, that was fantastic. Thank you for that. I'm going to chuckle about that for a while.
So like skin and flesh start decaying, and people lose arms and legs.
Is actually horrible. If you were found to have leprosy in biblical times, they literally had leper colonies, like way outside the city limits, and you were sent to go live with the other lepers and basically just wait to die. Like it was horrible. So their bodies are literally disintegrating. Like it's gross. So I don't know if you guys ever encounter anything physical, like in someone that grossed you out. Are you going to be honest enough to say anything? Anybody have anything to share? No.
Things that gross me out. Listen, nothing. I can. We've got young girls, right? 4 and 2. No, I can do with dirty diapers all day long, no problem. When you have to deal with formula puke. I can't.
Those are difficult times.
All of my babies were formula fed, and May threw up in my mouth.
Oh no!
It was terrible. That's what I think of instantly.
It's so disgusting.
Well, that story is hilarious because this will be easy to show. So May was a baby, and she was sitting on my lap, or no. Yeah.
That's just brutal.
Okay, no, this is reverse. Sorry, now I'm thinking about it.
You were a baby and you were sitting on May's lap.
John was sitting and had May on his lap, and I went to walked over to pick her up, and I picked her up and I went, May, just up in the air, and she threw as I'm yay, cute baby, she threw up in my mouth, and John's sitting there, he hadn't looked up yet, and he was like, oh my word, it's all over me, on his legs, on his knees brutal. Or whatever, and then he looked up at me, and I said with I am worse. It was all in my mouth down the front of me. And he was like, I'm so sorry. You are worse. He's like, let me get you a towel.
Oh my word.
But anyways, that
horrifying.
was the grossest.
That is horrifying. I actually had, don't judge me. You two or anybody who's watching right now, do not judge me. When I was little, I was growing up, there was an old man that went to our church, and he was missing his hand. He had it cut off in a car accident or something.
Probably war.
Thanks for making me feel worse. So he just had the nub, that was his nub. But it would be his hand that he shook hands with. So he was fine with it.
Shook hands?
Yeah, so it would just be out there. It was just and so
he did this on purpose.
Oh, he had to have. And
okay.
As a 4, 5, 6-year-old kid, weird. I had bad dreams about it. I was like, his nub really freaked me out. So that's that was my thing. So whatever. Don't you judge me. Don't you judge me. Oh gosh. But so if you're a leper, let's go back to the Bible story. If you are a leper, you have leprosy, your body is in decay. It's disgusting. Yeah. People don't want to even be close to you for fear of getting that, because that's a worst possible scenario. And so Jesus is out walking with his disciples, and it's this group of 10 lepers comes up to him, which would be terrifying. If you're just a regular person, I don't want leprosy. Stay away. You are not to be with us. And these 10 lepers who have, it's basically a death sentence. You're waiting to die this horrible, lonely death. Yeah. They're begging Jesus, we know you can heal us. Would you heal us? Yeah. And so he sends them on their way. He tells them, go present yourself to the priest. That was the person who could declare them clean. You don't have leprosy. Right. And on their way, they were healed. It's an amazing story. And so they were healed, they were pronounced clean, and they just went away celebrating. Well, the story is important, and it's relevant to our conversation today, because one of the 10 comes back to Jesus, hours later. He comes back, and he just falls on his feet in front of Jesus, weeping, just thanking Jesus for what he had done.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not?
Well, exactly. Well, then that's the whole point, right? How could you not? Yeah. Jesus says to him, hey, you're welcome. Weren't there 10 of you?
Yeah.
Where are the other 9? Right. Yeah. Where are the other 9? That's what Jesus says. Think about the significance of that. I've been healed of leprosy. Woohoo! I'm off to the races. No regard for who had just done that to you. Just going off and celebrate. And it's the one guy who came back and said, thank you. Yeah. And Jesus says, You're welcome. Yep. Where are the other 9? Like, it's kind of this moment of, he's kind of perplexed and awe that they didn't come and say thank you. Like, really? I just changed your life and only one of you came back?
Man, I'm so convicted.
No, I know. I'm feeling the
How
same
many
thing.
times have we been the other 9?
Yes.
And the one stands out.
When you are unthankful, I mean, that's what you're doing. Like, let's all acknowledge that Jesus has saved us. Like, we were dead and now we're alive. We were lost and now we're found. You always, no matter how rough of a situation you're going through, you always have something to be thankful for. Like, circle that. You always have something to be thankful for. And there is this expectation from the perspective of God that we do approach him with thanksgiving. Like, man, he loves us with an extravagant love. He has done things for us that no one else can do. So it must be the posture of our heart to be thankful and to remember what God has done for me. And I don't feel like today we even need to belabor this point. It just comes back to this idea of, if there is toxicity in my life, if I recognize that in my mindset and in my attitude, I am dealing with feelings of just entitlement, or I'm being consumed with envy or jealousy, or I'm coveting what other people's have and thinking I have the right to have good things and no bad things happen to me. I think those are all symptoms of the fact that I just need probably just to get on my knees and say, Jesus, thank you. Thank you for all the things that you have done for me, because that keeps me near to the heart of God and it keeps that toxicity rate real low. Thankfulness is the antidote. And so as we wrap this one up, I would just challenge you, if you've made it to the end of this podcast, and you have, because you're listening to this right now, congratulations. I just want to say you have something to be thankful for. And make sure today that you go to Jesus and let him know what it is that he's done for you. Give him thanks, because that will allow you to prevent yourself from being toxic and have the attitude that you were created to have.
That's good, Can I give you a little fun fact before we leave?
Let's do it. What do you got?
Leprosy, modern day, is called Hansen's disease.
Hansen's disease?
Hansen's
like
disease.
The band Hansen?
Like Mbop?
Actually, spelled a little bit different.
Is the sound of the rest of your arm falling on the floor.
That is not funny, but it's actually really funny.
Like hand, foot, and mouth.
And you know how I know that? It's from watching House MD back in the day. Hansen's disease.
Even better. Okay. So if you've had a really rough day, or if you have Hansen's disease, apparently, there is still always something to be thankful for.
Oh, my word. Yep.
That was wild. Thank you for that fun fact. That was great. Of
course.
That, or it runs rampant in the forest. We don't know. It's one of those two things. Never forget. That's what leprosy is. That's so good. Hey, we're closing it out. You always have something to be thankful for. Make sure you're giving thanks to God for his blessings, and that'll help you stay untoxic, if that's a word. There you go. Untoxic. So that's your bold move for today. Be thankful, and remember, you are blessed. We'll see you next time.
Remember, you are blessed.
You are blessed. Yeah, we're no longer You Are Loved Church. It's You Are Blessed Church.
You are blessed.